Welcome to Lesson 6 in lure training. Today, what we're going to be focusing on is verbal communication. So my dog already knows how to engage with me for long periods of times. I only engage with them for the amount that their attention span has, and then I give them breaks in order for them to succeed. And my dog can do visual communication only. So he knows that during active obedience, he gives me his undivided attention, because otherwise he wouldn't know what to do. And now that he is ready and he consistently goes to the positions the way that I want him to, meaning he's in good position right now. He's not like out here, or he's not like cockeyed or anything. When I do it, I'm confident that he's going to be in the correct position. Now I'm ready to introduce verbal communication. Good boy. Okay. We have to listen to the one thing at a time rule, meaning I do things one moment at a time. I lure him, then I mark, then I reward, then I release. Okay. And they can be like split half a second, between each other, but they need to be separate moments in order for my dog to understand and retain all of this information. When I do this, I need to also do the command and then do the lure. So heel, side, center, okay. Everything has to have its own separate moment in order for my dog's brain to retain that information. If I do it at the same time, it's a lot like I'm not doing it at all. If I lure and, heel, he would have done it that whether I said the word or not, and he's not going to eventually get to the point where I just say heel and then he does that spin around based on me doing it at the same time. The reason for that is what my dog is doing is he's anticipating the lure, and that's how he does the command with just the verbal command. It's anticipation of the lure, and the way I do that is I start fading the lure. Now, this can happen, 2 months into active obedience. It doesn't have to be, oh, we need to fade the lure out as fast as possible, like a lot of people say. Furthermore, I don't necessarily have to fade my lure out completely and get to the point where I'm standing around like a statue saying side and getting him to try and figure it out himself. I don't need to do that. Heel, I can still use my lure, but it becomes a little bit more casual. He knows that when I say side, I want to go here, but I can start, instead of doing this big clear movement, and do a little bit less side, but still guiding my dog for what they need. But that's long term. We're first going to heel and do the whole thing, and he's going to start anticipating. Then when he anticipates, I'm going to fade the lure little by little. Center. Mark, then reward, okay, then release. Everything has to be in their own moment, and we're just adding one moment at the beginning, which is the verbal command. I say the verbal command, 20, 30, 40 times. He starts to anticipate that verbal command, anticipates this lure, and then he starts doing it with less and less lure needed until I don't need a lure at all. It takes a few weeks, and trying to rush this or introducing the verbals too early will end in a less well-obedient dog, less good technique. So it's better to be patient, accept our dog for where they are, than to start trying to add things too early, like fading the lure too early or introducing the verbal commands too early. I would much rather my dog focus on my lure and understand that active obedience is giving me his undivided attention, and play this super fun game where I do my positions and I walk and do all of this stuff and make it a really fun, engaging game, rather than try and teach him on day 2, 3, 4 what heel means. Okay. So I hope that helps. We should be about 6 weeks into training our dogs before we introduce the verbal commands. You introduce the verbal commands when you are 100% confident that you're going to be able to put them in the position and it's going to be well done. It's not going to be off and okay, we'll get it better. Once you start introducing verbal commands, what you're at right now is what you're going to get long term.